originally came from Florida, actually. I moved up here at a pretty young age. I had some issues with family. When we moved up here originally, we moved in with some family friends, so kind of having that separation between my original family and growing up with people who took us in. A big part of McKinley for me is having that connection with all of the students and teachers, which is why I definitely like doing a lot of the community activities that I do, because it gives me a chance to do exactly that, speak my mind and be free around other people. And with relationships, it's taught me in the communities, having relationships with everyone you meet is definitely a valuable thing, instead of just having like face-to-face, just a minute conversation and then that person's out of your life.
I started out in human services and worked at the children's home, the first job out of college, and then was able to become a school social worker. And when I was working in schools, I decided this makes sense. I like the opportunity of the numbers of different kinds of kids, the different ages of kids, and so I wanted to stay with education. What these kids go through is so hard, and it's humbling for them to say, what can I do about this? Or they tell you the story, and sometimes the stories are so unbelievably incredible, and to have that opportunity to say, okay, now what? Okay, that's bad, and to understand and to be able to empathize. Failing is not an option for us here in this room, no matter what. Having said that, a failure isn't bad, okay, but just to stay there and to not navigate yourself out, that's what we're not going to allow. Okay, you're going to be able to come out of that somehow, and we'll help you figure that out.
When they offered me the job, they just asked me if I had a preference to high school or junior high, and at the time I had more of a preference toward junior high because that's what I had taught in Fargo. So I opted to do the junior high thing, and I kind of just ended up here, and it was actually a blessing because I got to experience things in a completely different way, because it is very different to teach junior high in an alternative setting than junior high in a regular ed setting. I think we do work really hard to meet the kids on their level and try to make things as relevant to them as possible, and I think that's huge too, because when I think about our curriculums, and Bill and I talk about this a lot, that you can open a book and you can turn the page. That's easy, but if you open the book and you're turning the pages and the pages aren't relevant to the kids, they're not going to connect. So we adjust a lot of the curriculum so that it'll be at home for them. And Bill and I kind of laugh about the fact that we complement each other really well, because I come from that education instructional background, he comes from that counseling background, and for this class it works really, really beautifully. So we've been doing that, like I said, for the 5th year this year, and we made kind of the communication, how we talk, communicate, learn from each other, and think about ourselves and our success, kind of the core, in a nutshell, kind of the core of what it is that we focus on while we're in here.
I am McKinley.
I am McKinley.
I am McKinley.